In his capacity as President of the Senate, Mike Pence has unique constitutional powers and privileges. He will preside over the joint session of Congress, which will tally elector votes on January the 6th. But which electoral votes? The eyes of the world will be on him to see if he will discharge his constitutional duties and powers to judge the validity of the voting which created the slates of electors from different states. If elections in certain states reveal violations of Article 2, Section 1 in the Constitution, then we have to say the electors from those states were obviously not lawfully elected and have no place or value in the 2020 election. Now, of course, the American media will try to blame Mr. Pence if he disregards invalid electors, and his own party will threaten him ahead of time, and others will say that he's responsible for any riots if he does not go along with November's numbers. So what should he do? What should Mike Pence do on January the 6th? Well, here's the answer. He should do the right thing. He should stand on the law. The Vice President should use his constitutional right and authority to put the blame for the dishonest elections where it belongs in each state. And he should do it publicly on national television. Now, in the case of Pennsylvania, for example, let's just use them as an example. He could say, upon receiving an envelope of unacceptable results, something like this: Madam Speaker, the world is watching us today as we meet jointly to conduct very serious business. We are not here to play political games with political narratives. This Congress must stand on the truth. Now, today was the deadline for Pennsylvania to have given me a list of electors properly and lawfully chosen according to laws and regulations passed by the state legislature. The Secretary of the Commonwealth has failed in her duty to do this. She has missed the deadline. Now, what is the result of her negligence? The voters of Pennsylvania have had their will in the 2020 election denied them by the errors made by these officials in Pennsylvania. That election on November 3rd was not conducted according to state law. So let us all admit here in this chamber today, Madam, what that means. There was no valid presidential election in Pennsylvania. Now, over the last several weeks, Pennsylvania officials, along with the state legislature, could possibly have remedied this situation. But instead, they decided to send a list of electors to me whose legal standing cannot be verified, certified, recognized, or counted in the Congress of the United States by any responsible constitutional appraisal. And so, Madam Speaker, I therefore advise the state of Pennsylvania to resort to constitutional law and recover, between now and the next election, a legal electoral process. Officials in the legislative, judicial, and executive branches must be working together between now and then to repair every unlawful voting procedure. And this is the only way that the voters of Pennsylvania can, in future elections, exercise their rights to cast votes, which will be lawfully accounted for both at the state and national levels. And so, Madam Speaker, for 2020, we tally the number of electors today in this chamber. The electors from Pennsylvania, the tally is 0. Next envelope, please. And that would be the end of my statement if I was doing it. Now, at the time of this recording, it appears that Pennsylvania and 5 other state legislatures still have time before the 6th to convene themselves and appoint a legal slate of electors and send those to Mike Pence, President of the United States Senate. They don't need a governor's permission to do this. They do not need a political party's permission to do this. And certainly they don't need the media's permission to do this. But they had better act with courage and speed and make sure that they do things constitutionally, or Pennsylvania voters and the voters of other states will be sitting out the 2020 election. And this will not be the fault of the Vice President.